Today we'll look at an example of an ICT-led innovation of a process of automating payroll, rostering, and employee monitoring for managers of organizations. And we'll do this through looking at the case study of Tanda. So in the existing process of rostering, employee monitoring, and payroll, there are a number of pain points for businesses and managers. We'll look at this through the example of Linda, a manager of a restaurant with 30 staff on its books. Each week, she firstly needs to create the roster of when employees will work. She monitors that the employees are arriving on time. At the end of the week, she calculates the wages for each employee, and then she processes these payments. But there are a number of pain points. In creating the roster, she has to identify the availability of 30 separate individuals, and their availability will differ from week to week, creating difficulties and effort required to communicate this information. When she's creating the roster, Linda isn't able to quickly or simply calculate the costs, which means that she can't compare two separate options of the roster that she is considering easily. And finally, alerting staff of shifts. She needs to send a message to 30 separate employees, alerting them of the different times at which they're working. In terms of monitoring, with a paper-based timesheet system, it involves increased work for the manager, as she needs to manually make sure that people are arriving on time, and small deviations of 5 or 10 minutes can easily be missed. At the end of the week, in calculating wages, it's difficult to calculate the amount that each person should be paid because it's determined by their age, the hours that they worked, the days on which they worked, and the role which they're performing. And additionally, deviations from the roster may not be picked up, such as when someone works extra hours or if they had to leave home early for health reasons. Finally, if she's processing the payments manually, it is incredibly time intensive. The innovation concept inherent in Tanda is able to mitigate or reduce pain points throughout this entire process. Firstly, staff are able to update their availability online, which is communicated simply through to the manager. The labor costs are calculated when the rosters are being created, so Linda can easily compare the costs of each option and see how it relates to the business's budget for a certain week. Email and SMS alerts of shifts are able to be sent out to staff immediately, alerting them of when they will be working. In terms of monitoring, in each store, a wall-mounted tablet allows employees to track themselves by clocking in and clocking out at the beginning and end of their shift using a unique identifying code. And this allows for the exact times to be recorded. The wages are automatically calculated based on the award or enterprise agreement and the relevant features of each employee. Any deviations from the roster are flagged and are brought to the manager's attention, allowing her to address them. And the payment processing is integrated with MyOb, Xero, and other platforms, which allows for the process to be much more simple and easy. The technology set which allows Tanda to work is a combination of proprietary software, APIs, the tablets that are in-store, and a cloud-based system. The cloud-based system allows data to be collected from multiple stores. And a number of Tanda's clients do have multiple stores where they need to collect this data from. The APIs link the data from Tanda and communicate it to payment processors such as MyOb, Xero, Sage, and others. The Tanda time clock application is used on a tablet, and one of these is mounted in every store where the employees use Tanda. And finally, Tanda's proprietary software interprets awards and creates costed rosters, something that is not previously done. Now, as an emerging product, Tanda has delivered results for individual businesses, resulting in increased use nationwide. In terms of the value that an individual business gets, it's been reported to have up to a 50% reduction in the payroll processing time, and the savings are often a multiple of the outlay required. And the results of this innovation have meant that over 6.8 million shifts have been clocked in on the Tanda time clock, and currently over 1,000 business locations using Tanda. Additionally, Domino's have signed an agreement with Tanda to use Tanda for their 537 stores, both in Australia and internationally. Now, Tanda is a breakthrough innovation as it facilitates improved processes and provides new data to its managers. So, Tanda is able to capture unutilized data for its managers, and the reason it's not disruptive is that Tanda actually offers a superior product offering compared to existing paper-based systems. Or they might have a system to calculate their wages, but they wouldn't have a system linking that to their rosters and that creation process. And finally, Tanda is not an incremental innovation, as no previous service offered the whole process of the whole value chain of rostering, monitoring, and then processing the payments. Now, Tanda itself is the result of an entrepreneurial idea created in response to the observation of the pain points in the process. A quote from one of the founders is saying, "We saw so many businesses were still working on paper." And from that, they then created the Tanda platform, which created the company. It's not the innovation source is not a reverse innovation, as it was created in the developed economy, and it's not an internal innovation, as it was not created as a result of a specific innovation program within a firm. Nor was it an open innovation as well. Finally, so Tanda was an ICT-led innovation which used a number of technologies, APIs, tablets, proprietary software, to create value for businesses and improve the efficiency with which they are able to perform a number of their key duties in managing staff.